Assalamu alaikum, dears, how are you? Mental stress, tension. We all are very familiar with these words. Almost everybody, or at least overwhelming majority of the people, are found saying that I am suffering from mental stress. I feel tension. Some of the people go even further and they say that I am in a depression-like state. Although maybe many of the people who say that I am in depression, they are exaggerating. They don't know the exact definition of the depression, but at least one thing which can be said with lot of sure and certainty, that many of the people are suffering from the stress, while some of the people indeed are having a depression-like condition. Since the stress is very common, so for that reason it is important for us to understand certain things about mental stress, about tension, so that we are better able to cope with it, so that we are having better mechanism to deal with it, to cope it, to handle it, to manage it. So that is the topic of our today's discussion. And we are going to present here some very effective, time-tested coping mechanisms against stress. So there are several types of coping mechanisms. There are physical coping mechanisms. There are emotional coping mechanisms. There are social coping mechanisms. There are lifestyle coping mechanisms. So these are the four types of coping mechanism. Let's begin with the physical coping mechanism. That comprises three things. The first one is exercise. Regular physical activity reduces stress and anxiety by releasing endorphins. Exercise. Regular physical activity reduces stress and anxiety by releasing endorphins. Number two, yoga combines physical movement with deep breathing and meditation techniques to reduce stress. What is yoga? Yoga is also needed. So these are physical coping mechanisms. Combines physical movement with deep breathing and meditation techniques to reduce stress. Number three, it is walking. A simple, accessible way to clear your mind and reduce stress. A simple, accessible way to clear your mind and reduce stress. So these are the three physical coping mechanisms against mental stress. The second is emotional coping mechanisms. So these are also three in number. Number one, mindfulness meditation focuses on the present moment, concentrating upon not to dwell in the past at all, not to live in the future at all, but to focus and concentrate upon the present moment. So that is that reduces worries about the past, about the future as well. So the second emotional coping mechanism is deep breathing. Slows down your heart rate. Deep breathing slows down your heart rate, lowers blood pressure, and calms your mind. So that is the second emotional coping mechanism, which is called deep breathing. Slows down your heart rate, lowers your blood pressure, and calms your mind. The third emotional coping mechanism against the mental stress is journaling. Writes down your thought and feelings to process and release them. Writing down your thoughts and feelings to process and release them. The third type of coping mechanisms are called social coping mechanisms. So these are also three in number. Number one is talk to a friend or family member, share your feelings, and receive the support and perspective. Talk to a friend or family member, shares your feelings, and receives support and perspective. Number two, support groups. Connect with others who face similar challenges, providing a sense of community and understanding. Support groups connects with others who face similar challenges, providing a sense of community and understanding. Number three, it is therapy. Works with a mental health professional to develop coping strategies and address underlying issues. So these are therapy. Works with a mental health professional to develop coping strategies and address underlying issues. So these are the three coping mechanisms. That is social coping mechanisms. Now, lastly, we are going to talk about lifestyle coping mechanisms. So these are also only three in number. The first one is time management. Prioritizes tasks, set realistic goals, and takes regular breaks to reduce feelings of overwhelm. It is time management, prioritizes tasks, set realistic goals, and takes regular breaks to reduce feelings of overwhelm. The second lifestyle coping mechanism is self-care. Engage in activities that bring joy and relaxation, such as reading, listening to music, or taking a relaxing bath. The second lifestyle coping mechanism is self-care. Engages in activities that bring joy and relaxation, such as reading, listening to music, or taking a relaxing bath. The third and the last lifestyle coping mechanism against stress is healthy sleep habits. Healthy sleep habits. Now it establishes a consistent sleep schedule, avoids caffeine and electronics before bedtime, and creates a relaxing sleep environment. Healthy sleep habits establishes a consistent sleep schedule, avoids caffeine and electronics before bedtime, and creates a relaxing environment. Now these are the four types of coping mechanisms against mental stress. Firstly, we talk about the physical coping mechanism like exercise, like yoga, like walking. The second type of coping mechanism against mental stress is emotional coping mechanism like mindful meditation, deep breathing and journaling. The third type of coping mechanism against the mental stress, it is social coping mechanism. Talk to a friend or family member, sport group, talk to the sport groups and go for a therapy. Now, the fourth and the last lifestyle coping mechanisms are the lifestyle coping mechanism against mental stress. Number one, it is the time management, prioritizing tasks. Number two, it is the self-care. Number three, it is the healthy sleep habits. Now, remember, everyone is unique and what works for one person may not work for another. Experiment with different coping mechanisms to find what works best for you. So that is something very important indeed. That's all for me today. Thank you very much.